LSU Odyssey Odcast Volume 9. We're going to be talking LSU 2022 priorities. Okay, now this isn't just, who's the most talented, who's the best in each position. This is about influence. This is about chemistry. It's about the full package. We're going to go through each position group and who the Tigers should recruit and make their number one priority in each area. Okay? Now, there's some options. There's plenty of options. We're going to start here at offensive line. Offensive line, immediately when you think of who they must have, who they have to absolutely have, people tend to go back and forth between Emory Jones or Kelvin Banks Jr. You can't go wrong with either. Emory Jones is that local, centerpiece alongside Will Campbell that he's a must for LSU. He's from Baton Rouge. He's a local at Catholic High. We've seen so many great LSU players come from that high school. Namely, recently Clyde Edwards-Helaire, even Jared Small. And there's a historic running back that I will not be saying his name, but he's another great football player. Just a great football player who comes out of Catholic. And Emory Jones continues that tradition. But when I'm looking at what LSU needs most and what LSU should prioritize the most on this offensive line, it's not another tackle. We have so many tackles. We've got a lot of tackles. We've got Marcus Dumerville, who's still from the 2021 class, the 2020 class, has barely seen much action at all. Okay, then you got Garrett Dellinger from the 2021 class, who looks to be another bookend tackle in time, and he's barely received much reps through spring, but he's looking really solid. I feel like Garrett Dellinger. He looked pretty good in the spring game, and you go down the line, and outside of Marlon Martinez, maybe Thomas Perry, Charles Turner, LSU doesn't have very much power at the guard position. LSU need to really boost that guard play. And so, for me, the number one priority that has to be there for that LSU offensive line is somebody who could be kicked inside to guard. Or you might want to just put an actual guard here. So for me, I got to go with Kelvin Banks Jr. because he can play offensive tackle and play guard. He's so aggressive, so physical, so dominant. And the way his family are, I feel like you just have to get this guy and his family into LSU. This guy, Kelvin Banks Sr., his father and him, when both junior and senior are trying on the uniforms and having a blast, and the look in their eyes when they're smiling at each other in that photo was just priceless. Immediately, I was like, we can't miss here. We have to get this family. And so Kelvin Banks Jr. has to be my pick for the number one offensive line priority. Moving over to the defensive line, this is interesting because you've got Shamar Stewart, brilliant defensive end. You've got Omari Abor, another defensive end. You've got Anaya White, another defensive end. You've got some really, really great pass rushing energy there. But there's one name I feel who sticks out above all, and he just proved why he should. It wasn't just the measurables before. If the measurables caught your attention before, his camp performance sealed the deal. Quincy Wiggins. Quincy Wiggins is the number one defensive line priority for the LSU Tigers. He's a local, but more than that, he is the complete edge rushing package, as we found out, and he's got some breathtaking interior moves. Quincy Wiggins, imagine what he is physically right now, where he stands right next to Mason Smith, almost the same height, almost just as big as Mason Smith. But just imagine what he will look like after a summer with Tommy Moffitt. Just imagine. We're already seeing that transformation take place with Savion Jones, gaining 7 pounds in his first week in LSU colors. Just imagine what Quincy Wiggins will look like. He'll be an absolute freaking mammoth. So Quincy Wiggins has to be my guy for the defensive line, number one priority. At linebacker, you know, there's a lot of good names. There's a lot of solid names. There's a lot of under-the-radar guys who really possess some great qualities. As far as LSU's needs, I'm coming down on this list to 2 guys. Harold Perkins, the 5-star out of Cy Creek, Cypress, Texas. And the next guy, Sean Murphy. Sean Murphy out of Virginia. Now, Sean Murphy, he's got a really tight relationship with Antoine Sampaw, linebacker who's already on the roster, who's looked really good through spring. Blake Baker told Antoine, this was relayed to me by Antoine Sampaw. Antoine Sampaw told LSUODYSSEY.COM that Blake Baker was extremely impressed with his progress through the spring, and he wants him to continue that. And so Baker is already high on Sampaw, and that just continues when Sampaw is turning into recruiter here, trying to pull in one of his Virginia buddies who's got the same mentor, Coach Wortham Jr. And Sean Murphy is really good at both covering the run and covering the pass. Harold Perkins, though, he reminds me a little bit of Patrick Queen. He reminds me a little bit of Patrick Willis. He reminds me a little bit of Devin White at times. And then he's got his own type of just Perkinsisms, just his own type of style of linebacker that's really suited to the modern game. After what we saw today with his official visit, where the entire athletic department was, conducting an honor guard for his arrival, that proves what type of priority LSU have put on him, but that also proves that we've beaten a lot of schools to the punch here. Because Alabama can't do this anymore. Clemson can't do this. Ohio State can't do this. Texas can't do this. It's going to look fake now. LSU actually wanted to do this, actually cared, actually put the forethought into this type of presentation because we wanted to show Harold Perkins that the entire athletic department wants him at LSU. They're all very, very busy people. They stopped, they waited for Perkins' arrival because that's how much he matters. There's so many great linebackers. Sean Murphy, DeMario Tolan. But number one, for me, has to be Harold Perkins. Moving to corner. LSU already got LaTerrence Welch, who, in my opinion, is the best corner of the 22 class. Should be a 5-star, should be getting that 5th star probably during his senior year at some point. hopefully pull in a bunch of interceptions, raise that 5th star, get that 5th star, because it's all about respect more than anything else right now for Welch. But you look who else is the options? Who else do we got? Who else do the Tigers have that could take that spot and play opposite LaTerrence Welch or opposite Eli Ricks or whoever and produce? Who can be those guys? And I think that guy is Denver Harris out of Houston. Yes, he's another 5-star. And he's just an incredible player that's already being recruited heavily by Blake Baker as well as Corey Raymond. They've made great traction. Not perfect. Denver Harris is really highly tracked, hunted, highly prized corner. His strong tackling on the outside. But for me, he has to be that number 1 priority. And you miss on him, you go from there. I really like Jordan Allen's game. He still doesn't have an offer from LSU. I do not know why. I think it's just a pure numbers thing. Why he hasn't gotten that offer makes no sense. But I think get that offer in time. At safety? Safety. Well, wow. There are a group of safeties out there that LSU are hunting for. You got Bryce Anderson. You got Keon Sabb, 5-star. You've got some really interesting talent at safety position. Really interesting 2022 guys there. We've already got Jacoby Matthews, a 5-star. But who are we going to have opposite him at safety? Who's going to be that guy opposite him at safety? And this is a tough position for me to call. Because I love what Bryce Anderson does. I love what Bryce Anderson could be as a football player, what he already is as a football player. But I feel like Keon Sabb out of IMG is such a ruthless talent. I really am impressed with what he's doing. Safety, it's not the biggest need in 2022 since we got 2 5-stars in back-to-back classes. But you still have to produce there. And I feel like Bryce Anderson, I feel like he's my guy just over Keon Sabb. At wide receiver, there's a bunch of options. But, we already got DeColdis Crawford, Aaron Anderson. Who is that next big LSU receiver from the 2022 class? It's interesting. Is LSU already full at receiver? Hell no. Because we're still without one guy, and one guy who we need more than anybody. That is Shaz Preston. Shaz Preston at receiver. He could be a future number 7, a future first-round draft pick. Potential all over the place. His yards after the catch is just special. What he does before he gets the ball on the route, what he does after he gets the ball on the route, it's frankly scary. Every time he touches the ball, he's just a big, explosive play guy. He kind of reminds me a bit of Kayshon Boutte, that just this knack for just slippery movement, just almost uses a defense like his own personal playground. Without a doubt, Shaz Preston is that number one priority at receiver. I go back to safety real quick. Kamari Wilson out of IMG, also, teammates with Keon Sabb. I feel like Kamari Wilson hasn't been given enough love. And I feel like if he came to LSU, that would be a huge, huge get. I really am a big fan of his gameplay. Kamari Wilson is very hard-nosed, very vocal, a big-time on-field leader, hard-nosed, does not suffer fools on that field. He's got incredible football IQ. He is a stat stuffer all over the place. Fills it up with fumble recoveries, forced fumbles, interceptions, passes deflected. He does everything. But it comes back to that on-field mindset that I feel like excites Durante Jones. But, the safety is such a weird position for me. It feels like we already got our number one target, but there's so many big guys out there that we got to get. So, Kamari Wilson, Bryce Anderson, Keon Sabb, they're all right there for me. I can take any of them and be fine. And of course, considering they're all really, really legitimate, absolute stalwart 2022 recruits. Then you move over to running back. Now, Le'Veon Moss, he was high on the list because he's just that good. Just a divine talent, Le'Veon Moss. But Pete Golden came in there. There was a situation where Le'Veon lost a friend to a shooting. And, that kind of spoiled the area for him. He lost a very close friend who was murdered. I understand why he wants to go. That's okay. If this is what Le'Veon needs to do, that's fine. I support Le'Veon 100%. Support his family. I will not tolerate anybody who even comes close to representing LSU Odyssey saying anything bad about Le'Veon Moss. If I see a comment from any of you going after Le'Veon Moss's people, himself, his mom, anybody, I will block your subscription so fast and you will not get a cent of your refund. There will be no refund. That you will not be doing that to his family. I heard some stuff was going on, but that will not happen on my watch. Le'Veon Moss deserves respect. He's gone through a horrible situation. Let's let him celebrate something. Okay? Let's let him experience something. If he wants to go to Alabama, okay. That's fine. Because LSU have a lot of other running backs that are just right there. You got Trevante Citizen, fantastic local back who always kind of was penciled in as a guy who would go to LSU with Le'Veon Moss. Now it's just Trevante there. And then there's Damari Alston. Now Damari Alston's getting a lot of love right now. He's getting a lot of crystal balls coming his way. A lot of people predicting after that visit where he got Coach O to be in a video with him. So a lot of people thinking he is going to come to LSU. I don't know about that. The neighbor's dog is going crazy because he sees my dog. Ugh. Yeah, Damari Alston. I think those crystal balls are a little over, they're always so reactionary. Oh, he went and visited this place. He loves this place. And he told one of us that, oh yeah, it was great. Crystal ball, he's going there. Like, they're never held accountable for that, and they should be. It's really, it's lazy. It's frankly lazy. Shamar Stewart visits Miami. He's going to Miami. Like, come on. Kendrick Law visits LSU. He's going to LSU. We already knew he was probably going to be going to LSU. Like, get this serious. Come on, guys. I cannot escape this dog. Anyway, you got Damari Alston, who I think really does not get enough love for his versatility, for the way he plays the game. I love his swagger, his creativity in the gap. The way he seems to manipulate gaps and manipulate protections to get where he needs to go is pretty special stuff. I'm a big fan of the way he runs the football. I'm also a big fan of the way he can catch the ball. That's something I think that's making him quite an interest for someone like Jake Peetz. At running back, you also got someone like Kendrick Law, Kendrick Law is just an athlete. I could have put him in the safety position here. I could have put him at receiver. Could have said he was going to be a corner. Could have said he's going to be a running back. I'm not going to put him at running back because I feel like he could be pretty much 3 different positions. But just to make a note, Kendrick Law is probably my favorite player of this class. And I think he's one of the most special specimen in the last few classes. You just got to see this dude on both sides of the ball. He brings it every time. It's almost like he controls the game. I just love the way he plays. But at running back, Trevante Citizen is not my number one guy. I think my number one guy would have to be Damari Alston. I'm not too excited about this 2022 running back class. I feel like it doesn't have, the home run hitter like Corey Kiner, doesn't have the burner like Armani Goodwin in it. But I'm high on Damari Alston. The more I watch him, the more I like. So, number one priority running back has got to be Damari Alston. Number one priority, tight end. Well, we already got him. That's Jake Johnson. And I don't think we need another one. I don't think we need another tight end there. I think we're good. If we do go get another tight end, why not get Jason Taylor's son? Jason Taylor's son, he's interesting. Mason Taylor. He's 6'4", 215, 220. Has fantastic ball skills. Very quick. He did not have a productive junior season. But when you see him in the camps, when you see his footage, he lights up the screen. And he's going to get a private workout on June 22nd with LSU. And Jake Peetz, Derek Shea, they're taking the lead on this. And it looks like they're going to do quite a lot to get him. I don't think we need another tight end. But if we're going to take one, let's just go with Mason Taylor. Quarterback, we got Walker Howard. And we got Garrett Nussmeier from the year before. Max Johnson's still going to be there. Hell, Miles Brennan could even still be there next year for some crazy reason. So, LSU have a stacked quarterback room. You got Walker Howard. You're good, okay? No more quarterbacks. So, there you have it. That's what I'm feeling like with LSU. That's the priorities. You got Denver Harris at corner. At safety, you could Kamari Wilson, Kendrick Law could be in there. Keon Sabb could be in there. Bryce Anderson. Still kind of undecided on that. At linebacker, we thought it was Harold Perkins. There's some other guys. There's DeMario Tolan. There's this really, really good linebacker, Manny Powell, out of Canton, Ohio, who I feel like is getting no love, 3-star. But Blake Baker has recently contacted him, and he's loving what this kid's put on tape. We just put a profile of him on LSUODYSSEY.com where he just goes to work on people out there. I highly suggest you watch that huddle film of him. It is beyond impressive. Then at running back, we had Damari Alston. Le'Veon Moss, for me, was that guy. I got that one wrong on my predictions, number 1. Offensive line, Kelvin Banks Jr., but Emory Jones is also right there. Defensive line, we chose Quincy Wiggins, of course. Wide receiver, Shaz Preston. You look down at every position and you like what LSU already has. You love what LSU could grow into, could be even more of when they get these guys. They've already got 3 5-stars. Jake Johnson could be a 5-star. Quincy Wiggins should be a 5-star. Denver Harris could be coming in. You've got the potential for at least 6 5-stars right on the face of it. I mean, that's no joke right there. You could even have a 7th or 8th when some other guys pick these up. They still have a season to play. So some of these guys, thinking that a lot of these guys are just going to stay at their ranking is a little absurd. I mean, some of these guys could be 4-stars until the All-American Bowl next January and then pick up that 5th star. And then LSU's got a historic amount of 5th stars coming in. So don't get bowled over by the whole 5th star versus 4-star. 5 stars are usually busts, blah, blah, blah type of thing. Don't get bowled over by that. Just look at the talent. Just look at the talent, follow the talent, follow the high character kids. And in this class, they're going to be 5 stars. And, when you look at the class, when you're talking about 3 stars, like Bo Bordelon, who should be like a 4, you've got 4-star guys who should be 5. You got 3-star guys who should be 4. It's a really deep class. And right now, LSU are in control. They're killing it with this class. And I expect commitments to follow. The first commitment I'm expecting to follow, I'm expecting Kelvin Banks Jr. to commit. I know we still have some visits. I'm expecting him to commit to LSU. Kendrick Law, I'm expecting him to commit to LSU. Quincy Wiggins, there's going to be a big fight for this guy, but I expect him to commit to LSU. There's a lot of interesting things going on here with this recruiting class. There's still some guys coming out of the woodwork. But follow it all at LSUODYSSEY.com because we are far from over. And we're setting up our set for the next Odcast. It might be in the car, but it might also be at our new location. So look forward to that. And look forward to all the crazy content we have on our site right now. We've put out maybe like 15 to 20 articles, videos in the last few days. And the content is far from over. Join us at LSUODYSSEY.com. LSUODYSSEY.com. Odcast Volume 9 signing off.